So, welcome to this new video on the channel, this time about pivot tables. And I have to admit first, if you know Excel well, you don't need pivot tables. And I hate pivot tables, but I show them only to you that if somewhere somebody shows you pivot tables, for example, at work or something, that you don't be overwhelmed by them. But I don't recommend using pivot tables, so to say. Yeah. So what are pivot tables? Pivot tables are a tool for calculating, summarizing, and analyzing data. You can create them with the simple 4 steps. You should select the cells from which the pivot table is to be created, then click on Insert and on Pivot Table, and then the pivot table is created for you, and then you can select where it should be placed, click on OK, and then you can select whatever you want to summarize. I will show this in an instant in Excel. So, or here, for example, also you can use the fields list to select fields and columns and so on you want to be analyzed or calculated. You can apply filters, group them, and so on and so on. Calculate also new values or measurements based on values and columns. So pivot tables are a little bit of a combination of filtering with some ifs and other formulas, and they're very intuitive to use. So and this is also the problem. They're very widespread. But for example, they have a few problems. For example, the data range does not increase with new data, and you need to manually update those data things. The range of functions is limited, so you can't use every function. For example, calculate some statistical functions you can calculate with pivot tables, but they're widespread because they're easy to use and you can quickly analyze data. But I don't recommend them, so I will show them only to you because I need to do or feel I need to do. And there are other guys out there who are better in pivot tables than I am. I use them when I'm not forced to use them. I use them basically not. So here, for example, an exemplary application for our fortune data set. We will shortly jump over to Excel to do it. For example, you can calculate then the total sum by country, and it will hand out such a value or the maximum market capitalization by country. So it is very handy and can be cool to use also. I have to admit that. So here's our table, 2,200 rows. Here, first select the range or the array you want to create an pivot table on. Then click on Insert and here on Pivot Table. Select where it should be created, new worksheet or existing worksheet. And then you have here a list of fields. And you can make them filterable, group it into columns and rows, or show them as values. So for example, by country, we want to have the countries in rows. Here we have all the countries, unique countries, so to say, and we want to have the sum of all the assets of those companies in those of those companies. And for example, here we want not to have the sum of those of the profits of those companies. We want to have the maximum of the profits of the company, the maximum profit of the company for every country. And there you need to click here and then on value field settings. And here you can select a few things, for example, standard deviation also, but for example, not the skewness. And you can click here on max. To show them. So here you see that there are 58 countries inside this table. The largest values are from the US. And here we have created our pivot tables. Thank you for your attention. I hope to see you in the next video with a function or functionality of Excel I will hopefully use and like a little bit more.